Boom! And press record.
It is. Red in the core.
Right, welcome along to another video. There's been a bit of a delay in making this video, and that's mainly been because of these. Our lovely, fancy, expensive custom suspension that we've got for the Lupo that was meant to solve all of our problems. Well, they didn't fit. When I put it all together with the Creation Motorsport top mounts and the new bearings, all the rest of it, I found that there wasn't enough threaded section on the top of the strut to actually bolt it into the car. Now it's just as well that we bought these off Gaz, and these are a British engineered product made in the UK, and luckily they have a UK number with a person who speaks perfect English on the other side of the phone. And within about 5 minutes of speaking to Gaz...
You're saying I don't talk English?
He never talks English.
What, and you have to put subtitles under me when I talk? Never mind.
But because I don't get any sense out of Spencer, I had to ring Gaz, and luckily I got lots of sense out of them. And it turns out that they'd sent me the wrong spring seat. This spring seat here bottoms out at the bottom of the threaded section here, which was causing a problem because it meant that there wasn't enough threaded section. The correct part has a slightly larger opening, and it has a seat for the bearing to sit in. And the important bit is that
this one fits.
This one fits. So now with this top spring hat seat, whatever you want to call it, there's now loads of room, enough to bolt it into the car. So now we've got that little thing dealt with. Now that took about a week, to be honest.
And be honest.
Oh, well then.
It nearly brought you to tears.
It did bring us to tears. As soon as he left, I cried. I did. I really did. We're up against it at the minute because we need to get this car ready for this track day that's happening on Monday. It's now Friday. We've had to get rid of work for the day, and so we've got a little bit of time today, hopefully a little bit of time over the weekend, to get this back together, get the geometry sorted, and get down to Teesside and thrash the living out of this. So yeah, now's the time to really get to it. We're going to get these on the car now. Hopefully we won't have any problems. Let's get on with it. Have you got my gloves?
No, I don't.
You haven't?
I've got my gloves. I put them in the same spot every time.
Right, I'm using new ones. Luckily we'll pick myself up a glove sponsor. Cheers, Gullens. So plenty of gloves for when Spencer steals them.
Look at that.
Hey. Is that muck?
Good compost, that walk it. Good bit compost.
Oh,
in the garden.
You'll be taking it at the allotment, won't you?
Aye. It's infecting the top mud.
You ever wondered what mud guards do? Collect mud. So I've assembled the suspension now. Spencer's getting on, pulling out the knackered arch liners, which, as you can see, are in absolute shit state. Getting rid of them. Having a car ramp's quite possibly one of the best things I ever bought. I absolutely love it and I use it all the time, but I still spend about half an hour on the ground with sore knees before I even think. Why not just lift the car up? Right, that's pretty much the suspension finished. Not finished, but it's fitted at least anyway. We'll do the final torque up when we get the car back on the ground. For now, I'll finish getting the rear discs assembled, These are the original discs that I bought with the axle when I got it off Chris, and as you can see they're in mint condition. They just had a bit of surface rust. So I've had them refinished off Mick Boak at MB Motorsport in Jarrah. He's just cleaned them up nicely for us, and to be fair, for the couple of quid that it costs, it's far cheaper than going buying a new set of discs, and he's done a really good job as well. So now we'll get the discs on, we'll get the calipers and all that bolted up, and then we can bleed the brakes. So the full new braking system that we've put in will hopefully be operational. EBC yellow stuffs to match the front. So we've got yellow stuffs all the way around. Some people don't like yellow stuffs. I've even had a bad experience with them myself in the past, but to be honest, on a car of this weight and power, etc., they're pretty good, especially for the price point as well. So let's get these ones on, and then we'll bleed the brakes. Right, Spencer's finishing off with the brakes at the back. Now I'm going to get ready to get some fluid in. We use Motul RBF 600. I was recommended this ages ago and we went with it, and we've never had any problems with it in terms of the fluid boiling or anything like that, so happy to stick with that. On the very first track day that we went to, we did just have standard fluid in there, and we boiled it to within an inch of its life. And ever since we moved over to RBF 600, we've never had a single problem with the actual fluid itself. Bleeding the brakes, and we've got some problems. Well, just one problem in particular, to be honest, and that is we think we've got a blocked nipple on the rear offside caliper. All the rest of them are bleeding absolutely fine, but the rear offside one, there's not a great deal coming out. When we take the nipple out though, fluid does pump out, so it doesn't pump, it flows out. So there's definitely brake fluid getting through there, but just not through the nipple. So Spencer's just doing some surgery now. Well, that nipple works. Let's get it banged on the car.
Bubbles! Bubbles!
Bubbles!
Bubbles!
Woohoo! Thank God for that. I nearly wrote the car off there.
That's what brake switches can do.
So what was the cause of that? The caliper's great, rebuilt perfectly, but the nipple just didn't get enough attention.
And who was supposed to give the nipples attention? Was it wasn't me?
It's always been a fault of mine. So now the nipple's replaced, we need to go back round We're going to do every single corner again, just to make sure that all the air's out of the system. Well, I'm not. Spencer is.
You talk.
I do the talking bit, and I'm probably not even very good at that either.
You need to get a plant.
A plant?
And plant it in here.
Oh, plant
By
it in.
the time this is bled, it will have grown. Sorry,
collection.
get a seed. Put a seed in here.
Put a small seedling in the compost you've collected in your tractor. That's appalling, that, isn't it? You think what the power to weight ratio is now, eh? with all that muck out. We'll be like a flying machine. We'll be the flying furious frog. Righty then.
What's this? Third? Fourth time? Lucky?
Don't tell them the truth, man. Tell them that we did it in one.
Oh, one go. Yeah,
One go,
yeah.
yeah.
One go.
God's sake.
Okay, take one.
YouTube, not truth tube. What's that?
A shovel?
I thought you farted.
No.
Right.
Now the stuff that should live in a shed.
Oh, tell us about it. Well, that's one of the summer projects. Get all the shit out of the garage.
Ooh, boo-boos. So this sucks through the nipple.
It sucks instead of blows. I'm so childish.
Watch him gracefully get into the seat.
You let me know then.
Yes, very nice.
Clutch feels good. Now it is, I need it. Solid. Solid. There's a smidge of travel, but that's just VW's for you. Right. Salted. Right, the engine bay is back together now, minus the air filter, which I'm going to sort out tomorrow. The next little job is I need to set the sort of baseline height for the suspension, get the wheels on, drop it onto the floor and see what it looks like. It's not going to be exact, but I can play with it when we get to Andy's garage tomorrow before we sort the geometry out. So yeah, so need to just get the suspension pretty much ish where I want it to be. The one job out of this whole project that I should have excelled at, it should have been the easiest job, was refitting the passenger seat, and God almighty, that's just took us nearly 20 minutes. What an absolute mong I am. Right, Spencer has long gone. He had to go home and be a good little boy. So there's a few little more things I need to do for today, and that is get the wheels back on, get it on the ground, get everything torqued back up the way that it should be. And then once I've done that, I'll give this place a little bit of a tidy, because it's an absolute tip. And then I think that'll be us for the day, because then the next little bit will be I take the car to get the geometry done, ready for the track day, and probably a little test drive as well, just to make sure everything's good. Don't want to drive all the way to Teesside just to find out that the teeny tiny thing needs sorting out. So yeah, get the torque wrench out. It's a bit tight under there. So that's all the bolts that need to be tightened are tight. All the bolts that need to be torqued are torqued. And already it's looking a little bit high at the back. By about that much. So I'll have to lower the back, and I think it's looking a little bit low at the front. Right folks, I'm going to call it a day now. The car is sat on its new suspension at last. It's all torqued up. I do need to play with the heights a little bit before it goes for geometry tomorrow. So I'll do that first thing in the morning, I think, because Spencer's going to come back over. And you know, I need him to hold me hand, don't I? So, but yeah, I think we'll call that a day for this video as well. And we'll see you on the next one.